Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Yesterday, I was having a long discussion across the web on Zoom with some people, political pundits, sociologists of Princeton University. And they said that there are fundamental inherent differences in India and the democracy, USA, the largest and the biggest democracies in the world. And they were saying that the differences are as far as the civilizational aspects is concerned. Otherwise, both are similar, and I disagree. I said all the similarities, and they were referring to the race riots. And it's in that context I'm talking about the similarities and dissimilarities. And I was very clear that although both are democracies, both are a compendium of nationalities, different languages, different modes, different customs, different attitudes. But to blame India's rights and equate them with the rights in USA is a mistaken notion. As a matter of fact, the ongoing strife in USA has some truth. Many whites and many others belong to other races in America as well, do regard blacks as the most part as lazy community. There might be some truth in that. I have recently posted on the Facebook a series of the black icons. Nobody can deny that. They were great in science, arts, humanities, politics, and everything. But there's a large majority also who are into crime and drugs. So apart from these icons, which can be counted on the fingertips, blacks in USA have been mostly regarded as filthy, which they are not. It might be the social circumstances, it might be the centuries of slavery that has regarded them. But the conception is, the idea is that what these whites believe, that the blacks for the most part live in the inner city ghettos, that any normal person would not enter, and if one enters that would be lucky to get out without being shot, robbed, mugged. The people also believe that the blacks don't want to work, that they rob, they steal, and they're heavy into drugs, and they're awash with guns. American police, like police anywhere in the world, would like to cruise around and drink their Java in safety. Pity the poor cop who gets sent to a black ghetto. He is at once on edge. He might encourage shots, and that encounter with the shots flying all over the place. That's a perception. Whether this perception is based on reality or not is something different. And cops who have been hardened by years in the field have done it, have seen it, know how to tackle the problem. If you tackle it the way Derek Chauvin or the Minneapolis failed, and others deal with it more gently, but they do it. And now here comes the crux. One sociologist, cultural pundit Peterson, stated that the black neighborhoods in America only are a reflection of the Muslim areas in India, or call it a Mohammedan area. Many areas in India, as in England, as in US, they are dubbed as Little Pakistan because the loyalties of their Muslim residents is seen to be suspect. They are believed by many in the majority community live in unsanitary conditions. They slaughter animals in their courtyards. They don't want to work hard. And the majority, looking at other majorities in India, they are not progressing. The other minorities, sorry, like Sikhs, Parsis, Jews, Christians, are making headway. Now, it's not to say that the Muslims are not making. As a matter of fact, India had four Muslim presidents, vice presidents, judges, sociologists, writers, professors, and journalists at galore. But the vast majority lives in these hovels, whether it's Okla or Pandit Ka Kucha in Delhi, whether it's Lal Kuan, whether it's Bhindi Bazaar in Bombay, and so on. So it is seen the same way that the Muslims in India don't want to work hard. They marry, they have four wives, though it might be a very rarity. But many in the majority community would say that if they were as progressive as the other minorities are, then why is it that they are not progressive? It's a fact that most of them are impacted by the religious education. And even in the universities dedicated to Muslim majority, like Aligarh Muslim University and Jamia in Delhi, they cry around saying they don't get jobs, forgetting that the jobs are not available on a platter for everybody. And this above all, many whites in America think that the black men in America lust after white women. And many Hindus in India believe that Muslim men in India lust after Hindu women. And the concept of love jihad, where Hindu and Sikh girls are married or have been lured by the Muslim, is plenty. The Bollywood marriages, famous marriages, whether it's Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Saif Ali Khan, all married Hindu girls. Before that, Sunil Dutt married Nargis, the icon. So it's not like that. And then again, police contingents in India are very cagey about entering these Muslim majority areas. The same way as the white cops hesitate going into black areas. And it's a claim. How far is true? We know it, that most of it might be cannot, that they have guns and spears in their homes. As a matter of fact, there is no guarantee that Hindus and the Sikhs don't have guns. As a matter of fact, every Sikh household has swords and spears. Recently, during anti-CA protest, Shaheen Bagh, Muslim protesters shot and killed one police officer and injured others. But the enduring image of the riot was that the cops beating the injured Muslims lying in the streets. Now, here comes the point. This is a projection by media which is often biased, not in favor of Muslims. Let's be very clear, or in favor of blacks. Let's again be clear. It's a media which is leftist, which poses to be progressive. Now, here is the matter. The crux of the matter is that this media and the politicians and the apologists for the human rights, they try to create a situation where if one black or Muslim is killed, it is created as if heavens have fallen. And if hundreds of the majority community in India or the whites in USA are killed, well, it's unfortunate, it should not have happened. Not that they have love for the blacks, not they have love for the Muslims, no. They have their own agenda and they are using these blacks and whites as their tools. So the similarity of the riots is similar as the physical aspects are concerned. Secondly, the second part is that nobody suspects the black in USA to have extraterritorial loyalty. And you would hardly ever see the blacks in America cheering the Africans win. No, they are not bothered. While when some Muslims hoist the Pakistani flag and cheer the win of the Pakistanis, and some even shouted Pakistan Zindabad, that does send a wave of disgust because these are traditional enemies, right or wrong. I'm not going into semantics, but the reality is that the suspicion of extraterritorial loyalty is there as far as the Muslims in India are concerned, but there is no such charge against the blacks in USA. Now, the images of the cops beating the injured Muslim lying on the streets with the lathis was shown everywhere. But have they forgotten that whenever an agitation takes place, police beat the agitators? That's the way Indian police has been trained, right or wrong again. I'm not going to that. South Asian police is supposed to be very strong in wielding the sticks, and they do it. In Delhi riots, Hindus got a very bad name, as the whites got a bad name in America. And the reality is that both are labeled as racist, bigots, xenophobic, while they are not. Many Hindus saved the Muslims, as Muslims might have saved the Hindus and have saved the Hindus. They saved the Sikhs when the Holocaust of the Sikhs was there in 84. And Sikhs have been traditional guardians of the Hindus. So it's a human feeling. And who is in the vanguard of Black Lives Movement? Who are the organizers? Who are the funders? People like Nancy Pelosi, political input, George Soros, the funder, the biggest funder of the Black Lives Movement. So these are the whites who are helping Black Lives Matter. Look at all the media, whether it's CNN or CBS or ABC. They're all white, and by 90% of their journalists, their anchors are white. And they're all full of feelings, assumed or real, for the blacks. So to say that these are race riots is wrong. They are shown as race riots. Basically, the crime, law and order situation. Now comes to the next one. Is there a solution to any of these? Every community has lazy and bad acts. Every community. The challenge is to lift those communities who find themselves, for whatever reason, at the back of the totem pole. As the blacks in America are the Muslims in India. And that is being done by the affirmative action in USA and by reservation of the economically poor classes in India. In India, the reservation is not based on religion, mostly. In one state, they did it, but it failed. But there is a reservation for the economically weaker section of society. And then, there's another thing. The conscious, the vegetarian conscious must awaken, but it's already awakened. The problem is that we do not ever consider the feelings of the majority. Majority is always assumed to be in the wrong, though they might be right. And incidentally, again, as I said, it's a part of the majority community, whether the whites in USA or the Hindus in India, who are promoting that view. So discrimination is rife in USA and India. But then tell me where it is not. This is international. Discrimination has always been there, would always be there, even in El Dorado, even in utopias. That sort of discrimination would be there. It depends on embracing pluralism and equality, and that concept is increasing. The interracial marriages taking place in America and India, they are happening. So why are we unnecessarily creating a situation? And it's very astonishing to see that the world's most advanced country, a professed greatest democracy, is a backward in the matters of race rights, as India, essentially with centuries of acceptance and inclusiveness, which believes in the whole world to be its family, being blamed for the race rights. This is a made up issue. There's nothing which is essentially the problem. It's created for purposes which are really not purposes. For more than 50 years after the civil rights movement and 155 years of the civil war in USA, the blacks have come ahead a lot. The singers and Nobel laureate like Bob Dylan, he captured the pain and pathos of the black community like Hattie Carroll and Medgar in the city. In India, the impetus to the Muslim community was given by the reformists and Muslims, Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan. Great literatures like Iqbal, who said Sare Jahan Se Acha, that India is the best in the world, and modern icon Javed Akhtar, they do not say there is discrimination. They say some people think, but then some people would always have that feeling. You cannot attribute the feeling of a section of society to the whole society as such. So, as I said, apparently there are similarities, as there are similarities that both are democracies. But we forget that in both, with the rare exceptions like Modi in India and Obama in USA, have people from outside the ruling families come and been doing some job. Essentially, both are democratic in outlook, both are pluralistic, and both have rights as any society would have. Let's not say both are alike, let's say both are representative of the essential human condition. And that human condition is that some differences would always be there. Some discrimination would always be there. What has to be ensured is that that sense of discrimination does not become fatal. That sense of pain of the minority or the deprived classes does not become a cancer. If that can be avoided, as the French would say, vive la the difference. Long live the difference. As a matter of differences, whether of color, whether of language, whether of attitudes, are always welcome and should be welcome. And to create and to say that there is no discrimination is in fact stating a fundamental lie. Human condition is such that we discriminate. Even parents discriminate between the children, their own progeny. There's one who is liked more than the other is. And there can be no reason for that. Secondly, everybody knows that it's better to favor a known devil than an unknown devil. So what is required is education, awareness of the differences. Yes, that's the most important. Make people aware of the differences and the problem would be solved, because once you are aware of the differences, you know that these differences are basically cosmetic, superficial, and do not inherently matter. And that is what is more important. Think about it. Thank you.